Hello, beautiful people. I'm Mariquita Solis of Harmonic Earth Healers. At Harmonic Earth Healers, we're really wanting everyone to feel this vibrant connection to Mother Earth and all of her living beings. So today I'm very honored to have Judy Carman, who is author of Homo Ahimsa. And we're really going to get into the depth of what is Homo Ahimsa and how does it relate to Mother Earth, to nurturing Mother Earth. So, welcome, Judy. I'm super excited to have you here with us.
Well, thank you, Mariquita. It's wonderful to be here. I'm very happy to be here and talking to everybody. So, thank you all for coming.
Yes, and if people are watching and you have comments, then or questions, let us know. If you're on the replay, also let us know because I really want to. I know a lot of people are not feeling connected to Mother Earth. And Judy, can you tell us what your connection is with Mother Earth?
Oh my goodness. I that is a big question. Uh, and it's a spiritual question too, I think. I just walking out the door and being outside is you can feel the energy shift of not that I don't like my home, but something about getting out there in nature is so enlivening and so amazing. And the more I think, the more that you uh, become in that moment with the earth, that that moment that you're in, the more you are nourished by her. And just, my goodness, just walking down the road. I live in the country, which is really a blessing for me, because I can go out in the woods or the fields whenever I want to, which is just such a gift. But just yesterday, walking down the road, and I get close to the cottonwood trees, and that's where all the cicadas are, and they're just so loud, and you just listen and stop and listen, and you feel that it's a choir singing to you. And and you, and and then you're just like overwhelmed with the beauty of just what happens outdoors with the earth, with Mother Nature. And it also makes me think, how can we get more people outside, children, people who live in the inner city, people who live in high rises and things like that. How can we get more people out? Because it is so healing and so nourishing. But it's more than that, it's also this connection that we basically have to have. We have to reconnect to the earth in order to be whole human beings and know what our role here is. And when we see all the damage that human beings have done to the earth, there is a lot of mourning that goes along with that. But there's also this impulse to do what we can to turn that around, to help people see this is like if you um, did what we're doing to the earth to our own homes. I mean, what if we, like, just like they're doing in the Amazon, we just set fire to our home? It wouldn't make any sense. People don't do that. And but I think that helps maybe bring it literally home a little bit, to think about that. uh, I saw a picture on the news the other day of a group of of indigenous people that they said had never been out of their own area, their tribal home, and they were out in a burned field. They had been driven from their home. And so that's human beings. And then there's millions of animals too that's happening to. And the primary reason that they're burning down the forests there in the Amazon is to grow feed for cows and other farmed animals, and also to graze cows. And so this is something that it goes right to our hearts when we realize that if we stopped eating animals, we would literally stop the burning of the Amazon rainforest. And of course, as everybody knows, it isn't just that. It's also the effluent that comes from the pig farms, the massive pig farms, and many other areas where fish and animals are being confined, and the pollution is beyond imagination. And we're doing that. We would not do that in our houses where we live, but we're doing it to our Mother Earth. And we're doing it primarily to raise animals for food, which, like 100,000 years ago, we were a tiny little dot, and the rest of the animals were wild animals. And now it's the opposite. The wild animals are a tiny dot, and we and the farmed animals that people eat make up the huge, vast majority of just bodies on this earth. And so the impact that we're having on the earth is immense and so destructive. And so that's why I call my book Homo Ahimsa. I kind of coined that term because I'm thinking, Homo sapiens has kind of made a mess here. Do we really think Homo sapiens can come up with a solution when we are the ones who have done all this damage? But Homo Ahimsa means non-harm in Sanskrit. And so I love that. I just love that word. It's the vow that Gandhi took of nonviolence, and led him on, so many successful ventures that didn't cause harm to other people, and that brought freedom to the people from India. Anyway, he took that vow. His family took that vow. Many people have taken the vow of Ahimsa, meaning I promise to do the least possible harm. It's pretty much not possible to do no harm at all, because we may accidentally step on a little ant or something like that, but we can certainly have it as an ideal and as a goal. And so I'm proposing that we evolve ourselves to Homo Ahimsa, away from Homo sapiens. We let that go. We let all that domination stuff go. We're not the top of the food chain. We're not here to dominate and destroy everything in our path. We're here to be caretakers, to love, to be partners with the rest of life, and especially Mother Earth. And so there's a lot of evidence that we are Homo Ahimsa. Really, it's all just covered up with all this Homo sapiens ideas about that we're here to use whatever we want, that we're here to dominate whoever we want. And it's all covered up with that. As we let go of those ideas and develop the concept of partnership with all life, then we can begin to uncover the truth of who we are, our true nature, which is the harmless human that is here to care for the earth. And I think we can do it. I think we're running very short on time, but I think that there's a huge um, consciousness rising going on. I'm seeing a lot of evidence of that all over. And so I feel like that is going to maybe just give us the push that we need to get over this hurdle and go, okay, all right, we're done as Homo sapiens. We're letting go of all those old programs, and we're now going to behave as Homo Ahimsa and, and dig deep in our hearts for the truth of who we really are. So that's kind of my idea about all that.
Well, now I really resonate with it because we don't have time to waste. We need to really take action now. And the sad thing is that so many people have no idea. They would just have no idea what I'm talking about because they're thinking that what's going on with our climate, they're not making the connection. So what would you do to people that just have no idea what's going on? What would you say to that person that's on this hustle bustle life that's just working hard to get ahead and they don't have time for anything but just barely making it through the day? What could you help us here? What would you say to that person?
That's a really a really good question, Mariquita, because I know a lot of people like that who they simply don't have time. I mean, they're struggling to get by, and it's getting worse. And a lot of that is because of what we have done to the earth and allowed to have happen from these huge companies that continue to think that progress is the most important thing, and so our cost of living is going up, and many young people are finding it impossible to buy a home now. There's and I met a young man the other day who works two jobs. His wife works a job, and they make fairly decent money, but they can't buy a home like they want to for their children just because the price of homes is going up. And so here they are, and there may be that person, for example, might be vaguely aware of what's going on to the earth, but they're going, what can I do? I've just got to put food on the table for my children. So the question is really important, and I think the most important thing to do for us, if we're aware of what's happening, is to listen to them, try to figure out where they might be emotionally and cognitively about what's yeah, that's better. I heard, yeah, some sort of a noise there. um, that listen to them, try to figure out where they are, and find out, is there something they could do, uh, you know something even small, and help them understand that even the smallest effort is worth it, and to do whatever that might be, even if it's recycling or something like that. I mean, I today's trash day here. We don't have trash service because we just hardly have any trash, but most of the people, when I go on my walks, those trash cans are very full, and and I know it's the same way in the city, and there's a lot more recycling that could be done. that's something little somebody could do and help them feel like even the smallest thing is worth it. But I think another thing is to encourage them to take time off and be in nature and really appreciate nature and help them see that being there heals them as well as healing the earth, because you're making a connection. And Thich Nhat Hanh says, when you walk, you are kissing the earth with your footsteps. And I just love that. I think that's so beautiful that he uh, would say that, would think of that. And so that's something, that you could say to somebody, and they may think that's kind of silly, but we're making a connection to the earth when we go outside, or we go to a park or something like that. And so we're connecting to Mother Earth and blessing her as much as she is blessing us in that interaction. So yeah, so I would say there's a couple of things to do, but also have compassion for these people, because uh, it's so hard, especially if you're young and you've got kids and you're just trying to make it, and your business, the business you worked for just quit, and now you got to find a job. I mean, there's so many struggles that people are going through right now. And so we definitely need to have compassion for them. And that's part of Homo Ahimsa, is to have compassion for the the people around us, not just the animals, not just the earth, but all the people around us as well. And if they can't do anything at all for the earth right now, then that's what we can do for them, is give them compassion for where they are, and understand what they're going through, and just be a listener and let them know that there are people out here moving in the direction of Homo Ahimsa that love them, and are here for them, and working on ways to help. So that's kind of an answer to that, but it's a tough question. It really is, because we need everybody. We know that, because, like you said, times are really getting short. But that's where, to me, the consciousness rising comes in, where we can believe, have faith that there's more going on in the realm of human consciousness than we can see or maybe even feel, and that is going to help everyone rise up, even those who don't have time to think about it, don't have time to do anything about it. They're going to be lifted up too, as long as we do our work and move in the direction of Homo Ahimsa, and away from the domination paradigm that all of us have been stuck in, literally, financially and environmentally, and every way you can imagine, socially. So, so we're moving away from that, and it's going to lift everybody up, but we need to have a lot of faith that that's happening, and bless those who can't do a whole lot, who are just barely surviving, and know that that they can come along with us once this, and it's already going. I shouldn't say once it gets going, it is already going, and we're moving in that direction, and it's beautiful. So yeah, so I hope that answered that question.
Yes, I love that. I love that your compassion and understanding to meet people where they are. And one thing I wanted to ask you about was when you said you don't have a lot of trash. So could you explain to people how, I mean, people that perhaps not understand.
about our recycling situation? Okay. Well, we have nobody picks up recycling out here, so we have to take it places, and numerous places. Like there's metal recycling one place, and then there's plastic recycling another place, and then glass and so forth, at the grocery store. So it's a bit of an effort, but it's so worth it. And then excuse me, trying to eliminate plastic, very, very challenging. Um, yeah, I just had some strawberries this morning that were in a plastic container. And so, yeah, it's very, very challenging, but we do have plastic recycling here. So that helps, but that's not the solution. The solution is to stop using it as best we can. So we do obviously end up with some trash, but it takes it takes about 6 months for us to fill up a couple of trash containers, and we take those to the dump, which is an experience all in itself. Because when you go to the dump, you are face to face with what we're doing with our trash, and it's mind-boggling. And I try to, like, even there's lots and lots of birds that are flying around over the trash looking for food, and it's awful. And the smell, of course, is just horrible too. But I try to, like rubber bands or anything like that, those little things, um, on containers that have little plastic circles. I try to cut those, and strings, like, dental floss. I try to cut it into little pieces, because birds could pick that up out of the garbage, and or it could even be out, in the driveway or something. They can pick it up, put it in their nest, and then their little babies get it tangled in their legs. And so I try to do things like that. But so anyway, but going to the dump is definitely a wake up call, and it makes you go, okay, is there some way we can reuse this instead of throwing it in the trash? And then, of course, there's also the Salvation Army, where you can take a lot of things you're not using anymore. And so that's very helpful too. But again, we're talking about time, spending a lot of time on this, and just thinking about all this. And I don't expect everybody to go to that much trouble. But it's still, you're kind of showing a way. And you can do a little bit more, maybe just a little bit less trash, a little bit more recycle. And so, but that's kind of how we do it. And but again, no judgment on people who don't. I'm like kind of fanatical about it. But thanks for asking.
Sure. No, I understand, because we've lost that disconnection from Mother Earth, is seeing her as our home, right? We don't even see her as a her. We're just something to use, that we're not making that
Right.
connection, right? And we just do what we want. It's so incredible that the dump is, you're right, you're face to face with it. And there is no garbage. I mean, when we understand that, then we can really make a change. Also, there was I volunteer at the Nature Center over here in Atlanta, over in Roswell, and one of the eagles came from the landfill, looking for food, wounded. So when you said that, talked about that, it really, it's very true, and it's sad.
Yeah. There's a, a place in Texas, the Wildlife Rehabilitation Rescue and Rehabilitation um, Sanctuary. It's an amazing place, and I think it's Candalia, Texas, I think. And Lynn Cooney is the founder, and she writes a story every month in her newsletter. And recently, she wrote a story about this. I think they were maybe hawks um, that were up in a nest, and it was a visible nest, so people had been watching them, and they'd seen two of the babies leave the nest and fly off, but this other baby kept trying to fly and getting pulled back into the nest, and everybody realized that baby was tangled in something. And so Lynn was able to get, I think, the power company guy to come and climb up the pole. It was on an electrical pole, I believe, something like that. So he climbed up, and he held the baby so everybody could see, and the whole crowd was underneath at this point, and brought the baby down. And Lynn cut the cord off of the little baby's leg, and off she flew, and everybody applauded, and it was wonderful. But it really hits home when you hear a story like that, that we do not want any nylon or plastic or anything like that in their nests where the babies could get tangled. And who knows how many times that happens and nobody sees and or calls for help. So luckily that was so visible, and people called Lynn and said, "Hey, what do we do? We've got to help this baby." So yeah, it's a huge problem. And of course, imagine everybody that's listening in has seen the sea turtles with the straw in the nose, and all of the birds that they find with their bellies just full of plastic trash. And it's so tragic. And whales as well, and other marine mammals, because they're swimming along, and they're gathering this stuff that looks like food, but it's really not. It's really plastic. And so it's just and it's human beings that created that trash, that horrible stuff. The nets, the tons of fishing nets that are discarded in the oceans. I'm not good at remembering statistics, but it's an enormous amount of netting, and everybody's seen whales who've been caught in it, and people who've tried to rescue them, and how grateful the whales are, leaping and thanking them. But how many whales die that nobody sees, that have been caught in these nets? And so it's just, yeah, what we have to stop treating the earth as a trash bin, and not just a trash bin, but everything else that we're doing and to it, to her. And she's waiting. She loves us. She's here to nourish us in so many ways, with fruit and nuts and shade and beauty beyond belief. And we just keep steamrolling over her. And we're all seeing that in our towns and cities. Oh, there goes another tree. Just pushed down. I saw a video where they have two big giant tractors with a chain in between them, and they just drive down along these trees and just rip them all right out of the ground. How can that's not moral? How can that be acceptable to anyone? And the people who are doing that, the tractor drivers, what's happening to their hearts to do that, to do that to these beautiful trees. So it's yeah, it's got to be turned around. We're pretty much out of time. We cannot keep doing this. We've got to stop. But that means, and my whole thing with Homo Ahimsa is that means we have to change deep inside, in our hearts, in our minds. We have to renew our minds and look at the world in a completely different way. The way we did when we were just a tiny little dot and all the animals filled up the rest of the space. we probably saw it pretty clearly then. And but now, once all the technology came out, it was like free for all. Just do whatever we want. And hey, I want a new refrigerator. Go mine all the parts for it, and or a new cell phone or whatever it may be. Don't look at what's happening to create this thing that I want. Yeah, we've got a lot of reversing to do, a lot of saying no, we're not going to do that anymore. We're stopping. The beautiful thing about Homo Ahimsa, because Homo Ahimsa is our true self, our true nature, we could call it the Christ spirit, the Buddha nature, the deep inside knowing the truth of life itself, that we're spiritual beings here, and that we're here to love and not destroy. Once that grows and becomes clear enough, we in our own hearts and minds, we're going to be able to come up with solutions. But Homo sapiens is not going to come up with the solutions. That they just can't. I should say we can't as Homo sapiens. As Homo Ahimsa, we can. And that's kind of a tricky thing to say, because I'm basically saying we're going to be, by becoming Homo Ahimsa, we're changing our paradigm, the way we look at the world entirely. And so we're going to come up with solutions that don't involve destruction. And that's pretty hard to conceive at this point in our mental lives, because we've been so programmed to think in terms of domination and exploitation and use. Well, we need some more minerals, so we're just going to dig a giant hole in the earth and force children to go down there and dig it out and pay them almost nothing. No, that's not it. But what is it then? And so that's where we're kind of at this place where you kind of just jump off the cliff, as they say, and find our wings on the way down. It's like we don't really know what we're going to come up with. I think there's some people, some geniuses out there that are, definitely making a lot of progress. But if it comes from Homo Ahimsa thinking, partnership thinking, caretaker thinking, it's going to work. If it comes from dominator thinking, we're just going to get closer and closer to the edge, and we're just going to fall right off. So I just mixed two metaphors, so that wasn't good, but anyway, I think everybody knows what I mean.
Right. Yes, definitely. We've got to return to empathy and compassion and these beautiful, sacred qualities instead of these toxic, harsh qualities, that the energy that's killing our earth, and start caring for each other. We're in such a selfish society, and not all of us, of course, but we have to take care of ourselves and acknowledge our feelings and not shut ourselves down. We're so used to shutting ourselves down that we don't even see pain around us. We're just really trying to get ahead, no matter at what cost. Um, so there were so many things I wanted, and so many things going through my mind when you were talking. But I mean, how to get back to that, and when you're talking about the trees being taken out, and I was on the some of the things. I think I saw that. I guess it was with Gerard Butler a couple weekends ago. He had a presentation, probably the same one of the ones that, who knows, that you saw with the trees. It made broke my heart, and it's the same thing with the animals. Um, I did want to say really quickly that it was only 4% of wild animals. I mean, that's the space they take up on the planet today, and because we have done away with them, we've taken the farmed animals are taking up about 60% of our land, and it's so sad. We can easily just run them over, get rid of them, and call them pests, which is sickening when I see pest control. I think, how can this even be? How did we shift to such a selfish mindset? What's happening to um, our lawns? I feel so scared to walk on a lawn at the park that is looking perfect, right? This perfect society. Um, I don't want my dog really walking on it. I don't know what's there, and I feel so horrible for the squirrels and the birds and the worms and all living beings that are on that piece of land that looks so perfect and beautiful. At what cost?
Are you talking about using pesticides and herbicides to make it look perfect?
Right? Yes,
Yeah.
and
Mm-hmm.
yes, you know, I mean, in the monarchs. I mean, when all that pesticides going into the plants, we were walking actually around this area recently. I'm actually at my friend's house, um, and it, there was a gentleman spraying, or watering, not spraying, watering the plants. It was out by Grant Park area, and my boyfriend was very hot. He said, "Can you hit me with some of that water?" And the guy said, "I'm sorry, I can't because it's got, pesticides and
Oh no. Oh
yeah,
my
and it's
goodness.
for the plant. He was watering the plants, but he was watering them with these killing agents."
Wow. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's goes on all over in the city and lots of, well, all the farms, just about, unless it's an organic farm, then yeah, that's happening everywhere. We've got a cornfield about a mile away, and I think about that, when the wind's blowing towards us, you know, are they spraying that? What are they doing up there? And if you drive through Iowa and Kansas, places like that, the corn and the soybeans that are growing, just miles and miles and miles of it, it's all to feed animals, and it's all been sprayed and fertilized. So that soil is basically dead, and the runoff from the pesticides and herbicides that they spray going right into the rivers and the creeks and eventually into the oceans and lakes, and is just, well, I mean, we could go on and on and on about what we're doing wrong, and it is an endless list. It is but it's all based on the idea that, like you say, the self-centered idea or human-centered idea that we can do whatever we want with this earth. It's like our big toy, and we're not very good children. We have, destroyed our toy and made a terrible mess of it and not cleaned it up or anything, put any of our toys away. So uh, I think most of the people listening in are aware that we are in a very, very dire situation. And you mentioned the wild animals. We can't, they help create a balanced ecosystem. And without them, there won't be enough air and water and all the things that we need to survive. And so, as Paul Watson has said many times, if the plankton decline any further in the ocean, they create most of the oxygen in the earth, in the world, then we're done for. And so we are really getting close. And as everybody knows, we're into the sixth extinction very heavily. And so this is a very real possibility that so many wild animals could become extinct that we would go right along with them. And so the question is, how do we turn that around? How do we stop what we're doing and completely switch gears? And I guess that's the main reason I came up with the concept of Homo Ahimsa, is to kind of give us a focus of saying, okay, we're not thinking right. We got to let go of these irrational thoughts of, might makes right, and we can do whatever we want to the earth. We're the top. We can exploit whoever we want. We've got to let go of that and move over to a new paradigm, a new way of looking at the world, at the Mother Earth, at the animals, and see it all as sacred, including ourselves. So, and that, yeah, but yeah, we're in a dire situation. There's no doubt about it.
Right. And what you said there uh, uh, about all the animals and everything, we're all connected. And so we've lost that wisdom that everything we do to another, it affects us. There's no way that we harm another being and we are not affected. So somehow getting the message out of this beautiful tree outside, that I see the trees in the wind and I know that they're honoring me, and I say hello trees, right? And just earlier I heard the birds singing, and that's something that we go through life, and that the universe and Mother Nature, she's calling us, right? She's sending us these beautiful birds and the trees and the rains to comfort and provide us our living foods, and we are so blind to it. So I just ask everyone that's watching to really go outside with a new set of eyes and see what you perhaps have been missing, and that I miss too. I mean, that I'm not a saint over here. I miss it too. I get in the hustle bustle of the world and I forget to go outside and really be mindful. This is about mindful living. I mean, in order to switch, we have to really understand from this deep level of what's going on. So just even hearing it for the first time, and just being open, I ask that everyone that's listening is open to this. And maybe it's not time for a full switch for you, but just like Judy's saying, do the best you can. If it's simply switching from plastic bags to paper bags, or from plastic bags to the linen bags, that's something. And don't ever discount what you're doing. We all are doing, even if it's a tiny thing, it's going to make a difference.
Absolutely. Yeah. Everything we do, because by doing it, it's not just the actual physical action that we're taking, it's the mental attitude about it, that we've adopted, a mental attitude that I am here to care for the earth. And so that's why I'm doing this. And and like you say, going outside is so helpful in encouraging us along these lines. Like doing, like getting a cloth bag. instead of a plastic bag, things like that. Because the more you interact with the earth and feel that tree, if you touch that tree is going to send you love. I mean, there's just no doubt about it. And, if you don't feel it right off, just, hang on there a little bit and you will feel it. And that's all part of um, this development of this new way of looking at life, and this caretaking way of looking at life, and knowing the tree loves me, I love the tree. And then that leads to all kinds of things. Do I really want that tree to be cut down? No, I do not. And especially for something completely frivolous, like another dollar store or something like that. So every little action we take, and every time we go outdoors in a mindful way, an aware way of what's happening out there and being in the moment with nature, all of that is moving us in this direction towards Homo Ahimsa, towards this new way of living, where and when we think about it, if we begin to understand as human beings, the people who have been destructive, we begin to understand that we can be creative instead. Then our whole attitude towards other people is going to change. There's going to come a time with enough Homo Ahimsas in the world where there can't be any war. It would be impossible. And there can't be any eating of animals. It would be impossible because both of those things require violence, and they require cruelty, and they require believing that we have the right to harm others. And so as we get closer and closer to that understanding that we do not have the right to harm others, all those things go away. The great extinction that's going on, the wars, the animal agriculture, it all goes away, and Mother Earth begins to heal. And we can see around us that we've finally figured out why we're here. We're not here to destroy this planet. We're here to love each other, to love all the animals, to hold all creation sacred.
Amen to that. Yes, and I encourage everyone to get up and just start with thank you, thank you, thanking ourselves for our beautiful spirit, our beautiful heart, acknowledging that, like you're saying, it starts with us seeing our beauty, thanking Mother Earth for another day, thanking the sun, and thanking the beautiful oxygen in our lungs for the gifts. I mean, that's what I mean. This is mindful. And then once we really wake up to all the gifts we have, and I mean, many times I think about the table that I'm resting on here with my hands, and all the people that it took, to get this, all the people that worked so hard to get this table put together, right? And how we are all connected. I mean, it can be easy to go by the table, oh wow, it looks nice, but to not know the love and not to acknowledge the love and the work and the craftsmanship. I mean, that is huge, and that's just one table. So when we open our eyes to the connection, again, this is connected to everything um, that is around the microphone that I'm using, right? From all the people that put together all the parts of that. And I mean, it is expansive. This is expansive wisdom and gratitude. So I encourage everyone to just start with the thank you, Mother Earth, thank you, thank myself every morning.
Oh, I love that, Mariquita. Yeah. It's gratitude is one of the the highest forms, I think, of being in love with life and being in love with the earth and with all the animals. So, and feeling a part of it all. And so, yeah, I love that. Thank you so much for saying that. Yeah, that's beautiful.
Well, thank you. Yes, and being a part of it all. Yes, we are part of her. She longs for us. She longs for, her Mother Earth longs for us to love her again. And she gives unconditional love, right? But she's hurting, and we're not feeding her um, the right gifts. We're taking from her, and so now we're suffering. But she wants us to. She wants to have this balance, and we're way out of balance, And so when people say, "Well, that's too much to ask," well, we've already taken so much, and it's not too much to ask to get us back into balance and into the way of honoring this beautiful planet.
Right. I so agree. But I think it's hard to think because of we're still caught in the old world, the old paradigm. It's hard for us to think, well, how can we do that? How can we create this world where we're not, are we going to stop building buildings? You know, um, are we going to, is the city council going to say, okay, no more building? And uh, are we going to say, okay, we need that stuff for the cell phone batteries? Are we going to say, no, can't do that anymore? We can't mine for that anymore. So what's the alternative? So it gets into these little areas where people can say, well, it's not going to work because how would you have cell phones? How would you, go to Walmart and all of these things? So and I struggle with it too because I know I can't see the whole picture yet either. So we just, I think, have to hold this vision, is this grand vision of a loving people who have uh, become Homo Ahimsa, who will have ideas that we never dreamed that of how to um, heal the damage and understand that, like you say, everything is connected. So energetically, as we move into that space of loving and holding everything sacred, then those ideas will come, one here, one there, and it'll all start coming together and we'll get back in balance. But I think a lot of people would argue, well, that's impossible. How are you going to do that? And so, those folks, I totally get where they're coming from because I don't see it either, but we have to have faith. I'll put it this way. We don't have a choice. We have to choose this path of love and sacredness and not harming animals anymore and not harming the earth anymore. We have to choose that path and, like I said, find our wings on the way down, because we just have to have faith that we could do it, that we would be able to figure it out. And I know there's plenty of people who would argue there's no way, it's too late and all of that. Let's just eat, drink, and be merry, right? Till the end. And so you just I think I understand exactly. I see the kitty. I understand exactly where they're coming from, and they're being, looking at the material side of things, and they're rather than the spiritual, because this is a spiritual movement and a mind changing movement, a renewal of the mind. And so, if you're just looking at the material side of it, you wouldn't see a solution. So, but yeah, I totally get it when people say, oh, it's impossible, we're done for, it's too late, But I don't believe that. I believe that we are on a roll where there's more and more people beginning to grasp that we are spiritual beings. We are extremely powerful beings on a spiritual level. And there's ideas in here and in you and in everyone that can change the world and make it the paradise it's supposed to be. So I know that that is the case, but we have to choose that belief right now, because otherwise the option is to believe that we're done for and just give up and just keep going, like, oh, more progress, more progress. No, that's not going to get it. And so we've got this choice. We're right here at the crossroads. So let's choose Homo Ahimsa. Let's go that way and believe we can do it.
Amen to that, Judy. Yes, and together we can do it. That's the key. We come together
Yeah.
and we work together. We might not know the answers, but we have a lot of wisdom and working from the heart, we can do it. So I'd love for you to share where people can get your book, Judy.
Oh, okay. My website is peace2allbeings.com, PEACE to allbeings.com. And on there you can click on my book, Peace to All Beings, or the Homo Ahimsa book. And I've got blogs on there and various other things to explore if you want to, and or you can just go to Amazon. They're on both on Amazon, so either way.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah, this has been a beautiful discussion. Is there anything else you wanted to say um, before
Well,
we
just
end?
yeah, just don't lose faith. Hang on, we're gonna do this. There's a bunch of us and we're heading in this direction. There's lots of different names for it besides Homo Ahimsa, but it's the idea that we are evolving spiritually and becoming the powerful beings we've always meant to be. We're not slaves. We're not um, caught in the cog of a machine. We are not in the matrix. We are spiritual, powerful spiritual beings, and we can do this.
Yes, we can. I love that. Well, thank you, Judy. And again, if anyone is watching the replay, if you have questions, please ask them. And also make sure to check out Judy's website and get her beautiful books. And I just thank you for your sacred heart and everything you're doing for our planet, Judy.
Well, thank you, Mariquita. Thank you for being who you are. Yeah, you're bringing wonderful wisdom to the world, and I really appreciate it.
Thank
I
you.
think we all do.
Yes, together we can do it. Right.
That's
Well,
right. That is right.
all right. Well, thanks everyone for watching. And thanks, Judy. And bye bye, everybody.
Yeah. Thank you. Bye bye.